The Bashir Saga brings into focus just how national interests can clash with the law, and this could not have come at a better time. From the coincidence of Bashir's presence at the launch of Kenya's rebirth to the linkage between Kenya's and Sudan's situations at the International Criminal Court, the International Center for Policy and Conflict says Kenya cannot hide under the name of the African Union.
Any treaty or a convention that Kenyans sign or have ratified is now part and parcel of the Constitution of Kenya.
However, Dr. Godfrey Musila, an international criminal lawyer with knowledge on international treaties, thinks otherwise. He says there are no automatic obligations for countries that signed the Rome Statute to arrest an indicted person.
If you look at Article 27, it says the official position is irrelevant. But then there's another provision of the statute, which is interesting, which is Article 98(1), which says that the court itself shall not proceed to request for a cooperation from a state if, in its view, that state will be forced to act in contravention of existing international obligations.
According to Musila, in order to arrest Bashir, Sudan has to remove immunity for their president.
But there's another way of going about it, that foreign governments can remove their recognition of President al-Bashir as the head of state, after which they can then legally arrest him.
It does not exist. In fact, if you read Article 73 of our own, this new constitution that we have, immunity is actually lifted for the president if he is under investigation on international crimes.
According to Ainaina, al-Bashir's presence in Kenya was a message to Kofi Annan and the ICC that Kenya was not interested in cooperating with the ICC on the post-election violence suspects.
Kenya government wanted to test how will be the response of not just African Union. It was giving African Union first a pedestal on which to use to launch an attack on the International Criminal Court.
And according to international procedure, action on Kenya can only be initiated by a member state. The UN can condemn Kenya's action or initiate economic sanctions.
There are such deep interests in the Sudan, within the Security Council itself, that are such that they would not favor an action against Kenya. There are those who are already doing business with Sudan, like China, and that President Obama has seen that accommodating Sudan and dealing with it in ways that ensure that the US's national interests are achieved is the best way to proceed.
Raila shook Bashir's hand. So did President Mwai Kibaki. And analysts say the Bashir crisis is their first test of leadership in post-referendum Kenya, as they juggle between maintaining good neighborly relations and respecting international laws.
We will continue having problems with Somalia, and the international community is watching. Rwanda was banning in 1994, the international community was watching, right? You must sort out your national interests, your regional interests, then international.
We are going to look very bad in the eyes of the international community.
The issues Kenya is dealing with now are her image in the international community in relation to her interests as a sovereign state. And while some look at the Bashir issue as a diplomatic goof, others look at it as a diplomatic scoop, given her position in the affairs of Africa. Alex Chamwada, Sunday Live, Nairobi.